Hey everybody, Jeremy here, and this is the HiWatch GT08. It's one of those generic smartwatches out of China, and it'll cost you about $32 on Amazon.com. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you all the features of the HiWatch GT08, give you my thoughts on it, and let you know whether or not I think this smartwatch is worth your time and hard-earned money. Now let's get a closer look at the HiWatch GT08. As you can see, the design is very heavily inspired by the Apple Watch, from the black bezel along the top, bottom, and sides of the watch face to the rounded silver trim along the sides. When you look at the watch from the side, you can also see that it has a dial. However, don't be fooled, it's actually a button. The button that you press in order to turn the watch on and off and to put it to sleep. On the other side of the watch is a hidden port which houses the micro USB slot, which you can use to charge the watch. And on the back is a plastic door that you can remove to reveal the micro SD card slot, as well as the SIM card tray. When you turn the watch on, you're going to be greeted with one of a few different screens, either an analog watch face that you can scroll through to reveal more watch faces, or you're going to come to a screen that tells you what time it is and the date in a digital fashion, as well as a couple of options that says menu and settings. However, don't be fooled by these options, because menu and settings cannot be activated from this menu. Instead, the phone will take you to the dialer screen and the settings button will take you to your messages. So that's just a little something to keep in mind. Beyond that, you're going to see an interface that is very similar to what Apple does on the iWatch, with a bunch of apps wrapped around in a bubble tile. Some of the apps that you can access on this watch include a calendar, a calculator, an MP3 player, phone book, voice memos, a camera, which you probably would not want to use anyway because it's not that good, a sedentary reminder, file management, notifications, and then on the last page you see that there are options for Google Chrome and Twitter and Facebook. However, if you don't have a SIM card inside the phone, these options won't do anything. You'll tap on them and it'll just say flight mode. Now, most people don't carry around more than one SIM card, and I imagine if you're watching this video, you're probably one of them. So don't be fooled. You don't actually have access to Google Chrome, you don't have access to Twitter, you don't have access to Facebook. It's just one of those things that the company put into the watch to make it look more appealing. By default, the watch is going to be on a general profile, which means it will make noise when you get notifications or phone calls, but you can also choose to put it in different modes as well, such as silent or meeting or outdoor. You can also customize these profiles to choose whatever type of ringtone you would like, whatever type of notification sound you would like, but I don't tend to like my watches making noise, so I keep mine on the silent option, and whenever you get a call or notification, it'll just vibrate instead. You'll always know when you get a notification, but you don't have to worry about bothering everyone around you. Now, before you can actually get notifications on this watch, you need to download a special app from Google Play called BT Notification. It's a free application, and it'll connect to the watch and it'll give you the option to choose which apps you would like to receive notifications from. It's a very simple process, littered with the names of the apps that are installed on your phone and little check boxes next to them. You can choose to select all of them or uncheck them all and just select the apps that you would actually want to get notifications from. This includes all your personal apps and system applications such as Gmail or the default messaging app. I found the notifications to work pretty well. As with most smartwatches, you're not going to be typing out full emails or long text messages from the watch because it's just not practical. But as far as getting the gist of the messages and notifications that you receive, the watch does a pretty good job of that. So now I have the watch connected to my smartphone. I'm going to show you one of the things that annoys me the most about using this thing. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the fault of the watch, hardware or software, or if it's an Android problem with hardware and or software, or a combination of all of those things. All I know is that this is my experience with this watch, and I'm going to show you. So because this watch has a speaker and it has a microphone built into it, it wants to identify itself as being something like a Bluetooth speaker or a Bluetooth headset, which is not something that you really want when it comes to a watch. So as you can see, it is connected to my phone and it's connected for call and media audio. Now, if I go into the settings and I decide, well, you know what? I do not want the phone to handle any kind of call audio, because every time that you get a phone call, the phone call's audio will be played through the watch instead of through your phone. So one way to solve that usually will be to restrict the permission. But look what happens if I take away the call audio. The watch has completely disconnected from my device. It's no longer connected to my phone because I would not give it the call audio. Let's just connect it one more time. And as you can see, now it's working. The call audio is gone. The media audio remains. But if you take away the call audio, you will no longer get notifications from the watch, and you will no longer be able to answer phone calls from the watch. So let's go ahead and just turn that back on then. So now that we got that turned back on, we're not going to sync the date and time anymore. And as you can see, this little icon that just popped up on the top of my taskbar, that lets me know that I am ready to accept notifications because I now gave it the call audio. Now with the media audio, I can just turn that off. But if I do that, then that means that I won't be able to control my music through the watch. Let me give you a little example here. I'm going to turn everything back on again. So let's go into Google Play Music All Access. And I queued up a podcast that I used to do a while back just to show you what happens. Now, if I press play on here, the audio is not coming through my phone. The audio is coming to the watch. I'm going to hold this a little closer to the speaker. You see that it's coming from the watch and not the phone. I don't like that. I'm going to go into the MP3 player option and I'm going to turn this up. And you see it's all coming from the watch. I can go ahead and pause that. Now, one way to make that go away is by going into your notifications and by clicking on the little audio button and switching it from GT08 to my phone. So when I do that and press play, good news, we're not melting anymore. It's now coming through the phone and not the watch. Okay, problem solved, right? No, not at all. Whenever you click play on the watch, it will automatically route the audio back to the watch. Listen, it's playing through the phone right now. Get no water to throw in your face or nothing. I'm going to pause it from the watch, and I'm going to hit play one more time. And now it's coming through the watch again. Take a look at the audio profiles and how they light up as I switch this. I'm going to pause it on the watch. I'm going to switch it back over to my phone. I'm going to play it again. Notice how my phone is lit up. I'm going to pause it and I'm going to hit play on the watch. And notice how it just lit back up on the watch. Basically, what I'm saying here and what you're seeing here is if you dare press play on the watch, no matter where your audio is coming out of, it will automatically route it right back into the watch until you manually switch it over again. Now, this is the same thing with phone calls. If you have the watch connected to take your phone calls, every time you send a phone call, every time you receive a phone call, it's going to come through the watch unless you tell the watch while you're on the phone call to route the audio back to your phone. And that happens every single time. And that's just something that I personally do not want to deal with when I'm trying to use the smartwatch to control my media. I don't want to have to always remind myself to reroute the audio or never press this play button. Maybe it doesn't sound like a huge deal to some people out there, but it's a very big deal to me because for me, I want the smartwatch to work with me. I want it to make my life easier and keep my phone away from my hands when I don't need it to do those very simple menial tasks. I kind of feel like I am working around the limitations of the watch in order to convenience me, whereas the watch should be working within my particular lifestyle in order to work for me. If the watch was simply a notification machine that allowed me to control my audio easily without having to worry about switching audio profiles, it would be great. Something that I could just use to quickly check a text message that I got or read the quick subject of an email that I just received and then immediately go back to whatever I was doing. That's what I want out of a smartwatch. However, because this smartwatch tries to be a watch and a phone at the same time, it doesn't do any of them particularly well. I have to say, for something that only costs $32, the hardware is perfectly fine and the smoothness of the software is also perfectly fine. Can't really ding it for that at all. But the problem is the user experience. I feel that if they stripped away the speaker, stripped away the microphone, and just left this as being a very simple notification device that can control music and can possibly even dismiss notifications if you wanted it to, this will be a very great product that you can use if you don't want to spend $200 or $300 or $400 on a smartwatch. And I feel like it doesn't do a very good job at being a watch either. When you turn on the watch, it doesn't automatically default to a screen that tells you what time is it and what day it is. It might go back to those analog watches, which you can have a decent idea that it might be somewhere between 8:30 and 8:45, but you don't know exactly what time it is. And you may not know exactly what date it is. I would like it if through a simple motion or by default, whenever you turn the watch back on, you will go to a screen where it just always tells you exactly what time it is and exactly what date it is, so you don't have to fiddle around in menus in order to figure that out. When it comes to using it for the day-to-day activities that I want to use it for, I feel like I have to work with too many quirks and I have to remember too many walkarounds in order to make this watch effective for me. But if these things don't bother you, or if you feel like you can easily work around it, then by all means pick it up. It's only $32. It's not a whole lot to lose. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.